Anybody in the world can learn how to throw a punch. The fact of the matter is, humans, we have arms that we can let our hands go to make contact with a heavy bag, shadow boxing, or truth is another person. The key is I want you to think about, you don't have to be a boxer or a street fighter. You can just be a fitness enthusiast and just want to learn how to throw a punch. How to throw a punch. You're not a boxer, you're not a street fighter, you're just an individual who wants to learn how to throw a punch. You can do it. There's 3 important tips that Coach Wayne and I are going to take you through. It's important for you to know how to throw a punch if you want to work the heavy bag, if you want to shadow box, or fact of the matter is if you just want to learn. These 3 tips simply start with the number 1 thing, and that's your intent. A lot of times out there when you're going to throw a punch, you don't have the intent to do it. You don't have the aggression or even the knowledge to throw your hands. With intent, when you're stepping up to the plate, you want to learn how to throw it. You have the intent to let your hands go. It's vital in the process, and this is exactly how you get it done with intent.
How to throw a punch and what the intent is. Sometimes you use the punch to set up your opponent or use the punch to knock out opponent. And that being said, Nathan had a very unique power that allowed him to knock out. Probably 90% of his wins were through knockout because he generated a tremendous amount of torque from his base. He had the intent. The intention is to put your opponent off balance, to measure the distance, or to hit him hard as you can. When you understand your intent, then you have a better chance of achieving the objective. The intent of throwing the punch, you may not be the person that wants to hurt somebody. You may not be the person who wants to knock somebody out. You just want to be the person that learns how to throw the punch properly. You can get that intent by practicing through shadow boxing and also through hitting the heavy bag to build your confidence up to be able to implement that in a practical situation where you're actually in the ring practicing on pads or sparring, and then move it on to possibly into competition. Intent is a very important ingredient of learning how to throw a proper punch.
Fundamentals. The fundamentals are stance, power, tempo, where to look. That is key in the fundamentals to teach you how to throw a punch. Remember, you don't have to be a boxer. You don't have to be a street fighter. You just have to be able to take in the information that Coach Wayne is going to give us and learn the fundamentals. Here's the fundamentals of how punches are thrown properly.
Once you have the intent, you want to go down to number 2 is fundamentals. The fundamentals are most important that you want to understand. About your balance. You have your feet firmly on the ground. You don't want to have a moving target. Right now for the fundamentals, you want to have the basic stance, feet firm to the ground. You want to measure the distance to the target, but you have to keep your eyes on the target at all times. Don't take your eyes off the target because you're not going to hit it. Once you have your eyes on the target, you measure the distance with your left hand, and then you rotate your body by maintaining the proper distance at point of impact and contact. Keep your eyes on the target, focused on the target at all times. Never take your eyes off the target because you will miss. When you're doing the fundamentals, you want to set yourself up for success. Keep it simple as possible. So you're not moving, the target's not moving, you measure the distance properly, your balance is firmly placed on the ground, and you do it at a moderate speed first. So you have a greater opportunity for success. If you're not doing it properly, you're going to find that your feet are moving, it's not hitting the target at full range of motion, that your body's too close to the target. You're going to notice that which is an often case, is that when the fundamentals, you take your eyes off the target, your head turns. You have to keep your eyes on the target. You're not going to hit what you're not looking at. And then if it's done properly, you're going to hear a really nice sound, a pop when it hits the bag. If the fundamentals are done correctly, you're going to notice by the sound more so than anything else.
Tip number 3, execution. You have the intent, you've learned the fundamentals, now it's time to execute. You're going to throw your hands, again, in space, shadow boxing, working the heavy bag. Execution is all about the effort to get the punches done with the education that you have and your willingness to put all that information together to execute. Here's exactly how to execute, how to throw a punch.
Our third step is execution. Once you have the confidence and the basics, the intent, the fundamentals down, then you go into execution. When doing this, you start off with the slow movement where you're in front of the bag, you're not moving in or out, you execute. Then to advance that, you want to step away from the bag. Now it's a moving target. As if you're hunting and shooting something that's moving, it's a lot harder to hit. Well, same as in the fundamentals and the execution of boxing or throwing a proper punch, is that you want to be able to do this while moving as well. You want to step in, measure the distance, rotate, keep your eyes on the target, and snap your knuckles down on the bag and make that pop noise. You want to execute by extending your punches at full range of motion and then being able to move and maintain that distance properly.
Practice. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna throw your hands first with single punches, then let your hands go with 2 punch combinations, then add multiple punches together. Work at shadow boxing, work it on the heavy bag.
Now we have the intent, the fundamentals, and execution. We want to put this into practice. In doing so, we start off, the easiest way is by using the heavy bag. The heavy bag is not moving a great deal. You're able to measure the distance. You're about to have your base of foundation correct, measure the distance, and then rotate and execute properly. While in practice, you want to have it as in a controllable situation. Set yourself up for success. So let's not get into big combinations right away. Start off with the jab to measure the distance to help yourself have the proper distance to execute the right hand with a power punch. You want to measure the distance with your left hand properly and then execute with the right hand. As you become more confident with your practice being more secure and correct, then you want to throw maybe 2 jabs. Then, as you progress, you want to maybe move a little bit more. Move away from the target, step into the target, use your jab, right hand, or double jab right hand. Execute more punches in your combination once you become more familiar, more confident at doing it correctly. When practicing how to throw a punch, it is very important that you execute properly. And conditioning is the foundation of being able to practice. If you're tired, you're going to make mistakes. Time your rounds at 2-minute rounds and do 3 2-minute rounds. If you're too tired at the end of that, then slow the rounds down to 1-minute rounds. Set yourself up for success. This is a technical workout that you want to start with. You can implement that into your conditioning workout and work harder, but the most important thing is get it done correctly.
You have the intent. You want to learn the fundamentals. You already done that. Coach Wayne took us through it. It's time to execute. Practice these slow. Keep a slow pace. And what's important about this is that you find a flow that works for you. Oftentimes when you're out there and you want to throw those punches with aggression, don't do that. Find a flow that works for you, as Coach Wayne told us, and also realize that punches can be thrown with multiple speeds and intent. You just have to find the one that works for you.